so much of him and me, it gets a bit introspective and muddled. Like him, I'm a lot more comfortable out here than I would be inside a funeral home. I'm not sweating yet, so that's a nice bonus. Like him, I have a knack for picking a partner out of the crowd and convincing her to marry me. Obviously, the analytical mind that he passed along is helpful in my job, but really it's the compulsion to tell people the truth as I see it rather than worry about their feelings when I tell them that really has got me to where I am in my career, so I'll thank him for that. Instead of talking about him, though, I'd rather talk about the life he lived, because I think it sets a good example. I had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to visit with him. And it was unique because, actually it's not quite unique, this happened with Gunnar too, which is weird. But I visited with him and I knew it was the last time I was ever going to be able to talk to him. And he knew it was the last time he was going to be alive with me. So obviously it got very philosophical, and it's hard to explain what he passed along, but when I was trying to figure out the words to say to convey what came into my head, it takes me back to a story in my own career. NASA spent a considerable sum of money, of your taxpayer dollars, to dissect my brain, pick me apart mentally and emotionally, and try to make me a better leader. And in one of those sessions, we were spending a week up at Wallops Island, essentially in barracks, so we did all these growth things during the day, talking to people, and then at night we had a pool table and some beer, and one of the guests who came in, he was one of the mid-level leaders, but he had 500 people under him, and I thought, that's where I want to be. But in talking to him, I realized, he was describing how he got to where he was, what he did to develop himself, to be ready and all that, and I realized that even though, he's not smarter than I am, he doesn't have more passion than I do, his understanding of the vision of NASA is no better than mine, but even with all that, the path he took to get where he was, it's not my path. And I think that's what Dad excelled at, is because you hear from him constantly, if you hung out with him the last couple of years, about how surprised he was with all the things he did and all the places he went. And I think it's because he didn't really set out to achieve a destination. He just saw where he fit in and where his path lied, and he followed it, regardless of where it took him. I mean, sure, when you think of the train ahead, and if you're thirsty, you don't head uphill, right? You head downhill looking for water. And sometimes if there's a briar patch, but there's something you want to achieve on the other side, you'll head through the briar patch. But in general, life is a journey. It's a cliche, but I think he followed it well, and that took him on a path that when he reached the end of his years, he could look back and he was very content and happy. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to pass along is much easier to explain, and that's simply live every day to the fullest. He also talked in the later years about crashing and burning, and how surprised he was to make it to 90, because he expected to crash and burn many times along the way. Back when he was in the Marines, he thought it would be literal crashing and burning. He certainly crashed a number of times, but he avoided the burning, so he lived and survived. But even throughout his career and his travels, I think there are stories that he didn't tell us, when his trips to South America and other places, and certainly Christine can attest that his pursuit of birds and wildlife took precedence over his personal safety in sometimes when he was traveling. But he did make it to 90, and again, he was happy because he had lived the way he wanted to live, and he wasn't afraid or content to sit back when there was something he could go achieve. So to finish up, I'm going to attempt to sing a verse from a song. It was sung of all the things I forget that. Frank Sinatra, sung by Frank Sinatra, and Dad kind of made up his own words, but it's close enough, so I'm going to sing it Dad's way. I'm going to live till I die. I'm going to laugh till I cry. I'm going to fill my cup till my number's up. I'm going to live till I die.